Thank you.
Hey, welcome everyone. Hello. Feel free to drop your name and where you're joining us from in the chat.
Welcome, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Hello.
Hey. Wow. So many fabulous faces. Hey.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining, and please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and say where you're from.
New York, Switzerland, India, Mexico, Oregon, Bolivia, France, hey, Florida, Puerto
Hey,
Rico.
we're all over.
Oh.
Costa Rica, Nigeria, Cancun. From Spain as well, in Florida. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Aruba.
Aruba, the Netherlands. Wow, so many people. Thank you so much for joining. We have Dayeb from Mauritania. Welcome.
Oh, and wow.
We will start in just a few minutes, just letting everyone come in, settle in, introduce themselves. I can go ahead and do a little housekeeping for everyone. Just tell you that you can pop any questions that you have in the chat. You will see that we have different people from different languages who will translate your questions for us. So please find that person from your language if you can, and yeah, share your question with them. Yeah, we also have translation going on, so please join your translation channel. We have Portuguese and French and Spanish and Italian and Russian. So yeah, join your channel, please.
Well, I think it's 5 past. We could probably get started and people can join as they join. So hi, my name's Anna, and Kika was just doing the housekeeping before me. Yeah, it's so wonderful to see so many familiar and new faces here today. I hope everyone's got a glass of water, that they're comfortable, that they're relaxed. You know, this is a really informal session, so please, you know, feel free to move. It's lovely if you want to have your camera on, we love that, but also just do whatever is right for you. So before we get started, I'll just do a very quick overview of how we're going to spend our time together this afternoon, this morning, this evening, depending on where you are in this moment. So before we get started with having a chat with Osel, I'm going to introduce Hans and Julie and Mr. Dippin, who are all going to give a brief overview of the work and their engagement with GTI in their part of the world. So we have some prepared questions for Osel, but also you can drop questions in the box, and if we have time, we'll come to them at the end. After we've had the questions, we'll just wrap up the session with a very brief slideshow, just celebrating and recognising the work that GTI has been doing over these past few years. So many of you know that the GTI has been going through a period of transition as our beloved, dynamic, amazing Jackie has been handing over the reins to Hans. So I'm going to hand over to Hans, and I just sort of wanted to introduce him. Well, how would you introduce Hans? I mean, I like to call him our man in Aruba. But Hans has been supporting the Global Tree Initiative and Osel for many years, but GTI from its inception. I think are you currently in India or are you in Aruba?
Actually, I'm in Nepal at the moment.
Oh, yes. So, you know, Hans is, you know, a massive activist and green practitioner in his own life. He also boasts years of experience in the hotel industry. He is an accomplished Buddhist academic and practitioner, and someone just who is wonderful to work with. So Hans, Julie, Mr. Dippin, I'm going to hand it over to you for your short introductions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. And hi, everybody. My name is Hans Tempner. I live on, as Anna already mentioned, on the small island on Aruba when I'm not traveling. And Aruba is actually in the southern part of the Caribbean. So it's quite a small island. It's only 8 kilometers wide and about 30 kilometers long. We have about 110,000 inhabitants. The original Arubians were Arawak Indians, and then we have about from 70 different nationalities from all around the world living there, different religions, different traditions, and, you know, all of them live peacefully together. So we have planted some trees and on Aruba already in the last 3 years, and for the last 2.5 years, we operate a small organic garden here. Also, I wanted to share with you that about 22% of Aruba's electricity is produced by windmills or solar panels. So we have got quite a good percentage there. And also, I wanted to share with you that for 3 years, the one-use plastic bags, you know, you can no longer get them on Aruba, and they're prohibited. And neither are, for the last 1.5 years or so, neither are plastic drinking straws or any one-use plastic articles. So we're quite good. And as Anna mentioned, I've been involved as a volunteer since the start of Global Tree, or since almost the start of Global Tree Initiative. First, I was doing the tree counting before we had this sophisticated, beautiful model that we have now, where we report trees online. And then I became the branch coordinator for Aruba, and then for some times I was also the Mahaspace community coordinator. And now, as the second global director, it gives me great pleasure to thank you to thank our outgoing global director, Jackie Keeley, for making all this happening, because that's what really it is. This has really been her baby right from the beginning, and wow, the dedication, the motivation, and the energy that went into this project from her, it's just unbelievable. So from my part, thank you very much, and we would not be here without you. That's for sure. We would not be doing what we're doing right now without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I think that's about it. But about me, I don't like talking about me much. So go ahead, Julie.
Well, hello, I'm Julie Caldwell. I live in Oregon in the United States. It's home to the Tequilma and Shasta Indigenous people. And why do I volunteer for the Global Tree Initiative? Well, because I want there to be a happy, healthy, wealthy planet Earth that lives in harmony with humanity. Wealthy as in our dear Earth covered, deep-rooted trees of wisdom. Healthy as in a home for all our animal friends. Happy as in a home our grandchildren can grow up and thrive in. Together, my husband Dave and I have 4 grandchildren, Phoenix, Cosmos, Costas, and Soren, and a beautiful daughter, Ruby. As a teacher, all children are my grandchildren. Last year, in partnership with the Global Tree Initiative, my community came together to build a food forest. 2 5th grade classes, the Bellevue Grange 759, the Bellevue Elementary School, a farmer, and a community of volunteers partnered with the Global Tree Initiative. The Bellevue School Forest is a climate-friendly living demonstration outdoor education project where we have planted over 100 edible trees and shrubs. It's an outdoor education program for children and adults to share its bounty for years and generations to come. So I would like to share a music video with you to the tune of Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell, but the lyrics have been rewritten by our 5th graders, now called Made in Paradise.
Thank you, Julie. I'm going to share now your video. I hope everyone can see it now.
Kiko, I haven't got sound.
You cannot hear it? You should be able to hear it. Okay. Sean, is there anything I have to do in order to, so that everyone can hear to what I hear? So you cannot listen to this.
I don't think people have got sound still. It's not working. So I think maybe we pause it and try one more time, or
we can share the link.
Or we could share the link to people also.
Yeah, I think that will be better.
Sorry, Julie, it looks absolutely beautiful. I'm sorry that, yeah, let's share the link. Okay.
Thank you for telling me it was not working.
I'll always tell
I
you.
was listening to the music.
You're just loving it, and everyone else is like,
I was loving it. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Thanks. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, Julie. And please check the chat because the link is there, and I think you're going to love the video. Okay, Anna, over to you.
Well, is there one more? Are we going to hear from our Indian representative regarding water, Mr. Dipan?
Yeah.
So I'll hand it over, and then me and Osel will get chatting. Okay.
Yes. Mr. Dipan is somewhere here. You are welcome to unmute now.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. For
Hello.
me, here it is good evening, good evening.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Dipan. We are very much appreciated. Please.
Yeah. So will you be able to share my presentation if you have received it?
You can share it. You can share it from your side. Can you?
Yeah.
I have not received it. You should have a green button at the bottom that says share screen. Can you see it?
Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, in the meantime, I can tell you that Mr. Dipan is one of our regional coordinators for India. He has joined the GTR India team not recently. And today he's going to talk a little bit with us about water and the importance of water. Well, we all know that to plant trees, we do need water, but sometimes we are not that much aware about its importance in our life and in the life of all living beings. So we asked Mr. Dipan to share a little bit with us about it because that's his expertise. So we are here to learn from you. Thank you very much. We are seeing your screen now.
Okay, thank you. Now just for the background, any trees or plantation or landscape, you need water. And water is very key feature. So that's why I'm here with Global Tree Initiative. And I consider that water is the blue gold. Right? For us, gold is very important, but water is more important than gold. So we know it as a blue gold, right? So the concept of today is to create the awareness among the participants about conservation of the water through change the habits, recycling and collection of the rainwater. And I consider all of you as a water ambassador. That is very important. That message you should carry after the completion of today's talk, that you will be acting as a water ambassador of GTI. So just to brief, refresh our mind, 70% of the world is covered with water, and 8 in 9 people across the globe has a poor access to the clean water. And every 20 seconds, a child dies due to waterborne illness. This is very serious issue related to water contamination. And only 3% of the earth water is fresh water, which is fit for human consumption. And out of that, only 1% is available for the human. Rest of the water is either in glaciers or icebergs. That means out of 100 liters, we'll have only 1 liter available for human consumption. And finally, we cannot create water. So the only solution left is to conserve the water. We cannot create the water. Very important statement here. So now there is a correlation between tree and water. Tree serves as a natural sponges, collects the water from rainfall and discharges it into streams and rivers, so that the land profile, soil profile is becoming rich for the growth of the trees. So trees are the most effective land cover, so that you see the quality of water and the effect of the forestation. When you want to increase the forestation, rainwater is very important here. And 50% trees volume is made out of 50% of water. So for a tree to grow and stay healthy, water is very essential. And around 11,000 gallon per season is the standard consumption by any 100 feet tall tree on the earth. And the absorbed water is released by tree in terms of oxygen and water vapor, which is ultimately again useful for human. Water vapor will convert into rainfall and we'll get the water back. We need clean water, but apart from us, so many animals also need clean water. And in absence of available of proper clean water, the losses are very high, and many of animals we know that are at danger nowadays for their existence on the earth. So here I would like to focus on 3R policy, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Now, reduce is basically related to our habits day to day, how we can conserve the water, we can avoid the wastage, we can avoid the contaminations of the water resources. And reuse is to collect the rainwater and reuse. And another term is to collect the used water. Now, first, suppose you can use the washing machine backwash water for cleaning up the utensils, maybe RO reject or any treatment plant backwash water you can reuse for certain aspect of it. Then third one is recycle, which is, we all know that it is recycling of the water using sewage treatment or grey water or wastewater treatment plant here. So again, I am not going to cover this, but by reducing the consumption, by changing the habits and maybe using water saving fittings, we can reduce the freshwater consumption by 20 to 30%. Then by reusing the used water and rainwater, we can reduce the freshwater consumption by 10 to 100%. That means suppose we target net zero water or water net positive water structures or buildings or premises, that will be more beneficial, and it will be really green in terms of environment friendly buildings. Then by recycling of the water, we can use recycled water for flushing, gardening, water cool air conditioning plant, sometimes washings, sometimes for makeup of water bodies. And by doing this, we can reduce the freshwater consumption by 20 to 50%. So end of the day, if you do all this exercise, our freshwater consumption can be reduced by 70 to 80%. That is what we have achieved in so many projects here. So there are a few of the things, you know, that change of your habits and lifestyle, use bucket wherever possible, even for shower, for washing the car, for so many other usages. I'll come with the smart irrigation. We have few points there. Then what is the design philosophy? So if you reuse the rainwater, obviously it is sustainable development. It will conserve the natural resources and will go green that way. We can optimize capital and operating cost and achieve zero liquid discharge. And it will create the harmony between nature, human, and technology. So with the growing demand of water for various usages, it is time for us to look at these, the only natural resources on the earth. So saving the future drip by drip with innovative technologies. Now, in terms of trees and plantation and green areas, smart irrigation is very important. We can do that by doing subsoil or root zone irrigation to reduce the water requirement. Another aspect, the latest technology is the most moisture sensor based irrigation system. So precisely the level of moisture you need for roots of the plant, you provide that much quantity of the water by using the latest technology, and we can do the optimization of the water. Now this is also applicable for crops and farmings, large areas. So large water requirements can be reduced that way. Another aspect, we know that it's a drip irrigation, bubblers, mist irrigation for the water conservation. With automation, zoning, we can do that. And we can also use variable frequency type based pumping system for energy conservation. So every drop counts here, and that is what they aim. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. I know personally, working with the GTI and particularly internationally, water is, one of the things we talk about all the time. It's one of our biggest concerns. Thank you so much for sharing not only your experience, but your innovations and how you're working on the ground. And yeah, thank you very much. That was really, really appreciated. Well, yeah, let's all just take a moment, and we're just about to get into the space and into the conversation. We're thinking about the water and the earth, and yeah, just hey Osel.
Hello there.
How are you doing today?
Very good, very good. Yeah, so I wanted to start off by thanking everybody, starting with Jackie Keeley. She really put so much energy into creating what we have today. So I think she's here. So I just wanted to thank her personally. And so I wanted to start off today because I feel that the Global Tree Initiative is a community. So we are creating a community more than planting trees. I mean, planting trees, of course, is part of the aspect, but what we're really trying to do is create a community globally. And I just wanted to touch base before we went into the questions about social media, or just the habit that we have in general, of like picking up the phone or the computer and trying to kind of like find something there. So mainly, we don't know if we have been living for maybe 40,000 years or 400,000 years in tribes, in groups together, where everybody had, their own kind of function, and they belonged somewhere. They were part of something. So this feeling has disappeared in a way today. We don't have the same living together in a tribe or in a group of people as it used to be. Now, of course, we are more isolated. So when we pick up a phone and go into social media, what we're really looking for is that acceptance, that human contact, right? That exchange, to being recognized. That's what we really want to feel, but we don't recognize that this is a very tribal, ancient, like even if it's almost maybe in our genetics too, trying to search for this human connection, this human contact, or yeah. So I just wanted to point that out, because every time we go into social media, we feel that we're looking for something without really knowing what it is that we're looking for, what it is that we're doing. So I wanted to just point that out, because I think it's really important, especially now that we're building a community. The community is also going to be able to help a lot to integrate that aspect of ourselves, of a belonging. So that's also one of the purpose of GTI is to be able to offer that, that empty space that we have, that we're looking to fill up through human connection, because life is about exchange. So anyway, so I just want to touch base on that. I hope that's clear.
No, I thought that was very concise, and it's very true. Social media, like, we're all looking for something. We all want to be part of something. We're naturally drawn to that, and we look in all these different ways for it, but often they can be quite misleading and quite damaging even to us.
Yeah, exactly. So if we know what we're searching for, then when we get into social media, it'll be very different. We won't be giving away our power in a way, our energy in the same way. We will know what we're looking for, and we will know that what we're receiving is not what we're looking for, So anyways, I just wanted to touch base on that, because I know, like, as a fact, many people, we spend a lot of time on social media every day trying to get something out of it without really knowing what it is that we're looking for. And I think that happens a lot in general in life. So I thought it was a good topic to start with.
No, and I agree. And with GTI, we're building these grassroots communities based on values all over the world. And actually, yes, there's a global community and we do things internationally, but actually what we're about is that local action, that connection to the earth, being present. So I'll just start with the first question, because it kind of leads in nicely. Okay. So we are seeing lots of global activism and communities coming together. However, we are seeing a huge amount of anxiety and fear, and particularly in young people, this idea of eco-anxiety and feeling frozen. So how do you feel it's best for us to how do we even recognize that anxiety, and how do we deal with the anxiety and the fears that we potentially have around the climate change, or the political scene? Or
the question of life. So yeah, I think okay, so this is a very big topic. It really expands a lot. So of course, if we check in Buddhist philosophy, right, it does talk about the nature of the mind, mind science. So we do know as a fact that when we start to actually work on that aspect, there is an advancement, a progress. And most of the time, in general, in everyday life, we're not really taught how to put that in practice or how to use that. It's like a muscle, right? You want to be able to work it every day. So I think if we dedicate maybe 10-15 minutes a day just to listen to that, to what we have here, not so much what we have here, right? 10-15 minutes a day, that's really going to bring us a lot of peace of mind and clarity. And it's going to also sharpen the mind. And the more sharp the mind is, the more subtle things we start to see. And when we start to see subtle things, that's really going to change our attitude and our perspective in life. So I really recommend those 10-15 minutes a day. It doesn't sound like much, but it will have a huge impact.
Thank you. I think that's yeah. And the kind of, when we spoke previously before the session, we talked about that need for having personal and physical space. And you've talked a little bit about, taking 15 minutes to sort of just listen and check in, why do you think at this point self-care and that personal reflection is so important in the current climate? Because it feels sometimes like there's so much to do. It can be hard to sort of think, no, I need to do these things first.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, we cannot really push ourselves to do more than what we're capable. And also, if we don't do much, we're procrastinating a lot in that aspect. Also, it's important not to be hard on oneself, to keep the balance. But I think, of course, it's all about habits. There are many habits that we have in everyday life, which nobody really kind of explained to us an alternative way. For example, we were talking about the water, no? Dipen Mechta. So it's just an example, like in many countries, every time you go to the bathroom, you just press a button and flush 5 to 8 liters of water, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's so much water for such a small quantity of something. And so anyway, so maybe, like a button where you can actually put only 10% of water, that would be great. Or dry toilets also work. But anyways, that's another story. So if you check every day, we are having a carbon impact. We're creating a carbon footprint every day. Most of us, unless we're indigenous living in the jungle, completely adapted to nature, and we living together in a completely harmonious way. Unless it's like that, then most likely, most of us, we are 136 people here, probably we all have a carbon footprint. So I think planting trees is a great way to balance that out, because this system and society is kind of like constructed that way today. So whether you like it or not, we do have a carbon footprint. So the minimum we can do is at least plant a few trees and try to recognize our lifestyle. For example, if you're going to go shopping, you take your own bag, so that they don't have to give you another plastic bag. That's just a small detail. These are things that I try to do. That are very small things that don't change much, in the lifestyle, but the impact that they have, the result is big. So I think that's really the way to go, is to start to looking for small things that you can start doing and changing your lifestyle, which will not change your life. I mean, it will improve your life, but the impact, on the environment will be much less.
Yeah, I think, there's a huge movement at the moment towards the green economy and to people buying green and thinking about this thing. In England, we have this thing called the odd box, which is basically misshapen fruit and vegetables that would be thrown away. They deliver it at night, so it's low carbon. You get a kind of biodegradable little thing that just tells you. And, sometimes you get tiny melons or like a giant carrot but I mean, it's all perfectly good food that would literally be thrown away. And, people are beginning to create businesses, and even just thinking like, I don't have much, however much money you've got, like, where do I spend that money? And, when I give my money to someone, how are they practicing? What does their green kind of, what impact are they making as well? Yeah, it is the little things. We're also seeing a lot of refillables here, like shops that you can just take your jar to and refill.
Wow, yeah, somebody just wrote a message about how when they do the dishes, anyways, I lost it. Oh, yeah, when they do the dishes, they let the faucet run even without a dish under it. Yeah, that's something I never do. Since I was in India, always the tap is like you turn it on like thin, you wash, you clean, and then you turn off, on, off, like that, but it's true that many people, they just let the tap go. But that's also because we haven't been educated, to really, see how precious water is. I mean, it is, without water, without air, we have an issue. anyways, so
No, well, I mean, that leads on very nicely, because again, we were talking about sort of capitalism and consumerism and,
yeah,
you know,
single-use
how it's,
plastic.
yeah, how it's kind of destroyed the relationship with ourselves and with the earth, because, you know, everything's like a financial commodity, even like our own value. We often judge against our financial income or how well we're being seen to do. I mean, how do you think we move away from this kind of, you know, it can seem so massive and indoctrinating, but how do we move away from that sort of self-judgment and, yeah, all of those aspects that come to find something that is more whole and isn't dependent on these kind of externals?
Mhm. Well, I mean, I think just like planting a tree is showing love to earth and what we're receiving from nature, you know, you can also plant inner trees. So that's of course it's a metaphor, but taking care of your interior space and the love that you have for yourself is very important. I'm not talking about just like attachment, you know, I'm talking about actually understanding how our body is full of love, you know, like there's billions of cells all working together at the same time. They've dedicated their whole existence to your benefit, you know, for your body to function properly and for you to be able to live and exchange, you know, with life. So just our body represents love, you know, because every single cell is so hardworking, you know. I mean, their whole life, their whole existence is dedicated just for you, and we don't even see that. So to start seeing the small details like that is very important, to recognize that our body is full of love and that we are love, actually, you know. And of course, I mean, to love it oneself is a big feat. It's not an easy thing. It takes time, it takes dedication, but slowly you can see the results, you know. But it's an everyday thing, you know. You really have to see yourself as you are and not as what you want to be or what you don't want to be or what people say or don't say or this or that, you know, because we do have a lot of you know, chaos in our everyday concepts. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the expectation around what we can do, what we can achieve, yeah, it's unbelievable. And I mean, you must find that also sometimes as a parent. I know it's difficult. How old is Norbu now? Is he 5?
Yeah, he's 5 now.
He's 5.
Yeah, he's growing really fast, and he's very, very, very intelligent. Last night we went to a theater. We went to see a theater.
Oh.
It was actually for grown-ups, and I was a bit worried, but no, for 1 hour he was just sitting there and really, really enjoyed it, you know. So that for me was a great sign, you know, that he's open to ideas, he's open to trying to understand, you know. It's not like, oh, this is not for kids, I don't want this.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they were actually worried that he wasn't gonna, you know, be in his best
Behavior.
behavior. Yeah. He actually said, oh, you know, in the theater we offer like you know, like a small guarderia, what they say, like where you put the children.
Oh, creche,
Yeah.
nursery.
They're like, oh, he's with you. Like, yeah, he's our son. He's coming with us. So I thought that was funny, because these days, you know, the children, you know, they have a hard time concentrating. My son, for example, one of the good things, we never gave him TV or phone in the car, for example, or just very specifically in the weekends, you know. So that really saves him from a lot, and it helps him also to be able to start to exchange, you know. It's not just the screen, you know, where you just, your whole existence in reality is that. And for children, that's a huge issue, which, I mean, people should, if they have children, they should do some research and understand the effect of a screen in a child's brain.
Yeah, and also the benefit of free play and imagination is just, you know, it's so massive. And, you know, it's almost like you were saying about the social media earlier. You know, we're all looking for that thing. Kids don't even know they're looking for that thing, but it's very easy to think that you're getting it. Yeah, you're getting it from somewhere else. I'm glad to hear he's well though, and I love to think of him going to the theatre.
Yeah.
Super cute. So within the GTI, one of the kind of value-led aspects is the 4 pillars of planting, that we encourage all our planters to kind of use when they engage with planting. So really setting a motivation, raising your awareness, rejoicing, and for some reason I can't, Kika, where are you with my other pillar?
Dedicating and rejoicing. You jumped to
it was
dedicating.
dedicating, obviously actually dedicating and then delighting and rejoicing.
Yeah.
How do you think that these values, not just in planting, but a kind of across our lives, can help us combat kind of?
Yeah. So yeah. So basically, I think every single one of us want to do something in our life that will, you know, create an impact or leave something behind, you know, like I think throughout the generations, humanity has always had that kind of thought, you know, two thoughts. One, to be immortal, and the other one to leave behind something, you know, even if it's children or a legacy or something, right? So for me, it's trees. You know, like whenever, you know, I mean, one thing is certain in life, which is that we're going to die. So whenever I die, when the time comes, at least there'll be lots of trees that I planted at that time. So since I was a child, you know, when I was 7, 8, already I was planting trees, and some of these trees are huge in India, some Bodhi trees, and it's at least it's this feeling that you have, you know, like, okay, you can go today, but you've done something that's going to have a result, and it's going to be a benefit. And it's so simple, and we all have to breathe anyways, right? I mean, it's if you think that we don't have to breathe, and then it's just ridiculous, you know. So I think even if we plant 1 tree or 3 trees or 30 trees, physically, we do it ourselves. It's a great practice. It's a great experience, you know, because it's something that you're giving to earth. It's an exchange. You're giving and receiving. Because in society, I mean, not always, but in general, the education, they actually don't teach us to adapt to nature. They teach us that nature has to adapt to us. You know, so that's already one active step of adapting to nature.
Yeah, and I mean, I found in my process of being part of the GTI, initially I was sort of wanting to be with trees, but then it was very much about the soil, and then it was very much about planting trees, initially saplings, but then growing from seed. And, you know, I had a period where I was quite sick, but during that time, the best thing that I did was just watch things grow, like every day. And it would be like some amazing movie. It'd be like, I can't believe it. Or like, you know, when a flower blossomed, or there'd be this. And I think that's one of the things that GTI does with those 4 pillars is help us see that. So yeah.
Yeah, talking about the pillars, GTI also, so His Holiness, he has a few pillars, you know, so I feel the GTI is fulfilling or trying to fulfill 2 of the pillars, which is religious harmony and environmental, you know, work. So I feel that, you know, GTI is also aligned with His Holiness the Dalai Lama's vision, which is really important, you know, because I feel that His Holiness is really, he has a vision. He understands, he knows, he can see. And we just have to try to understand, you know, in our small mind, in our small perspective, this huge, vast, universal aspect of life. It complements very well, I think.
Yeah, and we've also seen it works really well, Osel, because, you know, people around the world are planting trees in this way from all religious groups, and it's universal, and we can access it, and you don't need money to do it, and it's a really powerful tool for building communities, and yeah, and what is to come. And I guess I would also ask, you know, where do you see the GTI in 5 years? You know, learning centers, communities, land, trees.
Wow, I didn't think about that actually. I mean, of course I did think of it, but not that in that way, you know, not in the, well, I mean, for me, GTI, I mean, in 5 years, I would love that it's connected with all the other organizations worldwide with the same purpose, same idea, you know, not only planting trees, but everything is connected. You know, we really have to recover the ancient knowledge of our ancestors and start to really, you know, start to be true to ourselves and to be true to the nature that created us. And so from here to 5 years, I mean, I really would like that we are a whole collective, a world collective, all the organizations, we're all connected, and we're able to speak as one voice, where the governments will have to listen. You know, that for me would be amazing. You know, if we can actually become one voice through all these organizations that all have the same purpose, then I think, you know, we could make big changes, you know. And not only that, but if the future, the financial like aspect has to be ethical, you know, so any company, they have to have an ethical kind of policy. These things could really make a difference, you know, and really to take care of the environment, you know, not just, I mean, we're addicted to petrol. I mean, for example, we're completely addicted. I mean, humanity is so addicted to petrol that we don't even know how to stop. There's nothing that's equivalent to that. In 1 liter of petrol, the energy that we can get from that, there's nothing equivalent yet discovered today. And that's quite worrying, because there is no clear vision of where, like, it's just greed and convenience. And then we're all like going in the same kind of circle, and in the end we're just, you know, hurting ourselves and our children and our friends and our family and everybody, you know, because we haven't been educated, because nobody really has, I mean there's a very few people who really want to make a difference, but the mainstream, the masses, they're all just going one direction. So nobody really knows what's going to happen, you know, or like from here 10-20 years. So I think it's good to at least start putting some action and not just thought.
Yeah, me and Kika often say, you know, when we're doing GTI stuff, you know, we're trying to plant seeds for the new civilization, you know, in like the way that we do things and our actions. And yeah, it's really tough though as well with the petrol, with the energy thing. It's like, I sometimes feel there are answers out there. Like, we've got these amazing technologies, we've got people really developing stuff, but the resources, the big resources never go into that. And that feels really difficult sometimes, because you sort of feel like, well, you know, can I only make change on a local and personal level, because affecting governments and big budgets just, we're seeing loads of political movements, right? We've got XR here, there's, the transition movement, all in different ways. These bodies are campaigning, Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth, but yeah.
And we have to start personally first.
Mm.
Because whatever we have inside here represents everything that's outside. So you start working here, you're working outside as well. But if you don't start here, you can go outside as much as you want. It's not really going to have the same impact because you're not centered here. You don't have the flow, the channel, So it's very important to always start with oneself and start with love, with understanding, and acceptance also, and not so much greed, because we don't need so many things to be happy. As a matter of fact, we don't need anything to be happy, just the basic things. We just need a good mindset. And this concept of accumulating material objects has to start changing, because there's some people who can't even spend whatever they have in 1,000 lifetimes, and they're still not happy, and they still want to make more money. So, and then all the whole society, they sees them as like heroes, as examples, and for me that's not really an example, because life is about sharing, and we are interdependent, so we are all part of the same collective. So we start with ourselves, and that's how we are able to slowly make an impact.
Thanks, Osel. No, I appreciate that, because it does all start with yourself, and it's easy to get really caught up on the big external, huge questions, but actually, the day-to-day work is what needs to be done for sure. So I was just going to briefly talk about my experience with the GTI and the impact it's had on my life. So just in terms of connecting with other activists who have values, but also it's just taken me outdoors. It's forced me to look at the ground, at the trees, at the flowers, the berries, and the tiny miracles that are all around every day, but have easily been missed before. I've made such great friends and been inspired to plant trees, but also allowed myself to think about the world that I want to live in, and the possibility of change and reimagining. And I think that GTI really does that. So just on my final question, how do you think being part of a global community or a collective or initiative based on values can have direct benefit to your happiness?
Happiness is a very complicated word. We're all looking for happiness, but everything we do is actually creating a different result. And we know it, but we keep doing it. So it's not so much about happiness. It's more about maybe not being unhappy or a certain satisfaction within ourselves. That we belong, that we are doing something worthwhile. So, happiness is like something a bit hard to find, at least for me personally. It's a bit like conceptual. Conceptually, it's very nice, but the reality is that the happiness is temporary, just like suffering. So it's not, for me at least, it's not really something that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a certain inner satisfaction with myself, where I can feel good with myself because of what I do. And that probably is the beginning of happiness or non-unhappiness and self-love as well, is to do things that will feel you satisfied and will make you feel good with yourself, productive things that have an effect, things that have a follow-up. How with time?
Sorry?
How are we with time?
We are fine.
Yeah, okay.
we can, if you're, yeah, we can, yeah, move on, that's fine. Yeah, I think happiness can be a bit of a naff word, and I do think the self-love and the purpose and actually day-to-day experience of kindness is just, yeah, it's definitely a better way to describe it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, Osel, and also just your commitment and, you know, engagement with the Global Tree Initiative. So I'm just going to very briefly, I think we're going to also
so I just want to finish my side at least. So the Global Tree Initiative, it's something, it's a community. It's about everybody. You know, we are we're not a pyramid community, we are a circular community, and it's a family. And I mean, already people are traveling and meeting each other throughout the globe, you know, and for me, that's a very beautiful thing, you know, that you can actually travel to another country and stay with somebody else from the GTI community. I think that's beautiful. And I really want to thank the whole team, you know, for such a amazing dedication. And I just want to say sorry that maybe my aspect is not so good. I've been sick for a week now, 2 weeks with I'm not sure if it was COVID or what, but yeah, it was really bad. Like what do you call it? Gripe.
flu,
Yeah.
virus.
I don't know if it's virus or not, but yeah, now I'm a bit better, but it's really taken its toll. So that's why.
Thank you so much extra for coming.
No, I just wanted to say sorry if I'm not like full 100%.
It's fine. It's the reality of life. Our bodies aren't always able to, you know, carry our clear selves all the time. Like, I think, oh, sorry.
Hans?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So there was a question here from Jeremy Arusi Adeba from the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's something specific about Congo Basin and the rainforest there, and apparently the government is trying to auction it off. But I think maybe his question is also another question in another way. What can we do about, you know, all these things that are happening in the world against purely, you know, for the greed, like you said before, you know, the greed. Where can we be more specific in doing something positive for the environment? Thank you.
Well, like I said before, I think we have to start with ourselves. So first step is to think, what are you most attached to? And then start to investigate, why are you so attached to that? Is it a concept? Is it a state of mind? Is it an object? Is it a person? Is it, you know, start to question yourself, start to really investigate, you know, and the more you search, the more empty it will become. Because in the end, it's just conceptual. It's not really there, you know, it's just our idea of a way to integrate this existence and exchange with it, you know. So we do sometimes have concepts of, you know, like satisfaction or a happiness, or, you know, a little bit completely out of target, let's say, out of context, you know, because really, if you think about it, the true, you know, it's the inner values that are really going to make you happy, you know, not accumulating material wealth. So I think that's really mainly it's about education, you know. So that's why education is a parallel aspect, you know, to the environmental activity. You know, education is very important, and without that, it's going to be very difficult, you know, for the next generations to really, you know, continue or improve, you know, because this is just going downhill. without education, you know, everybody's just going to keep doing the same thing, and then that's it. You know, we don't really know even the effect it's going to have. We're like, we'll worry about that when it happens. So anyway, so I just wanted to thank everybody. Thank you so much. And so just continue with the activity. And hopefully we'll have many more talks like this, and I'll be probably in better health.
Well, please take some rest, and thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Osel. So I was just going to briefly, and Kika, please jump in as well. I was just going to briefly speak through some of the amazing things that GTI has achieved over the last few years, because although this is a fundraiser, and you know, we do need to raise the funds to support our staff and the different communities that we work with, it's also a huge chance for us to actually rejoice in the amazing work that we have done. Kika, could you want to talk? Are you happy to talk through some of these stats on here?
Can you see it? I'm
Yep,
sharing.
I can see it.
Actually.
Yeah, perfect. So in a kind of global perspective, we are planting in, or we are representing communities of planters in these countries. Okay, so someone in their own country, in their own community, in their own context, decides, they find GTI through whichever avenue, and they decide they want to dedicate their trees to become part of our global network. And so in 59 countries around the world, this has happened. And I think we've registered over 1.5 million trees now, which is a huge achievement. Kika, do you want to talk through the top 10 and the family?
Yes, okay. So like Anna just said, we did hit 1 million trees during the summer, and we are now at like 1.6 million trees in these 59 countries, which is pretty amazing considering that we are all about like local action and individual action, and like even one tree counts. Actually, one tree is brilliant. So it's really amazing to see that all of us together can do this much. Right now we are a team of 40, actually more than 40 volunteers and 4 paid contractors. So there's me, and there's Enrique, who's somewhere here behind the scenes. And there's also Arnoud, who is behind our website, and also Valerie. And really, apart from these 40 people, we have an amazing community of people who's actually on the ground doing the planting. And so we are really, really grateful to everyone who does that, who plants the trees, who dedicates them. So yeah, that's really important for us. And it's actually all of us who make the Global Tree Initiative. It's not only these 40 plus volunteers and contractors. So that's very important. And yeah, I think that's it. We right now, like Anna said, we are running a fundraiser, and we should not forget that, of course. And I can also share with you that we have to be grateful for the more than 100 donors that donate for us from more than how many? A lot of countries, 15 countries, I think, exactly. So we are really, really grateful for that, and to everyone who has been supporting us and making the Global Tree Initiative possible, because that's what it's like. That's what it is. Yeah, thank you, Anna. Thank you for moderating and for being here with us.
No, it's absolutely my inspiration, to be honest. The GTI is something quite unique and special, and I think just in terms of talking about the fundraiser, we do have this amazing opportunity that we have match funding. So for
Mhm.
every pound, dollar, rupee that is given, that will be match funded. So it gives us a real opportunity to kind of, yeah, get some of our costs supported in this time. But I think if we've got enough time and you think the tech will work, Hita, I would love to see Julie's video.
Yes,
If you think
I would be, yeah. I really wanted to show you that. So I will try again to share that video. Okay, I have share sound here, so we can manage. I hope. And please let me know if you cannot hear it still. Right now it has no sound. It has no sound yet.
We made paradise, took down a parking lot with a pollinator garden, a bee, and a butterfly spot. Don't it always seem to grow? A seed in the ground and away we go. We made paradise, took down a parking lot. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. We grew a food forest that starts with a tiny seed. All the people and the critters are welcome to come and feed. Here we go. Don't it always seem to grow? A seed in the ground and away we go. We made paradise, took down a parking lot. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. Hey, organ farmer, help our cause pretty please. Protect living soil for the health of the trees. Please, don't it always seem to grow? A seed in the ground and away we go. We made paradise, took down a parking lot. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. Late last night, I heard the screen door slam. A sign it was time to garden with my old man. Don't it always seem to grow? A seed in the ground and away we go. We made paradise, took down a parking lot. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. Don't it always seem to grow? A seed in the ground and away we go. We made paradise, took down a parking lot. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. Ooh, ba, 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 ba. We made paradise, took down a parking lot.
Okay. Thank you very much, Julie, again, for allowing us the opportunity to watch that. And yeah, actually, I have to say, we didn't say before, Julie is also the one behind this project, this food forest project in Oregon, the USA. This project is one of our tree planting partners. We have 5 tree planting partners around the world. We have 2 in the United Kingdom, 1 in the USA, and then 2 in Africa. So you can, of course, check that and learn more on our website, but that's also something that I didn't mention earlier, and it's quite important. They are also part of our GTI family and community, and they can actually plant any trees for any of us if we want to. So yeah, very inspirational video. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I wanted to mention something I think maybe Julie forgot, that about the fundraising, that all the donations will be matched up to, what was the maximum, Julie?
Oh, I'm about to talk about it, Osel.
Oh,
but
okay, sorry.
Go ahead. If you want me to, if you want to do it, that's okay with me.
I thought you had forgotten. I thought you forgot. Okay, sorry. My
Is
bad.
that a good transition, Kika? So
Yeah,
we have this amazing opportunity, and it is with great joy that I bring you some good news, a wonderful opportunity for you and me to turn around our carbon footprint. Every single donation to the Global Tree Initiative will be doubled, matched up to $23,000 by two very generous donors who we sincerely thank from the bottom of our heart to help us reach our fundraising goal of $42,000. $1 becomes $2, 100 becomes 200, 500 becomes 1,000. So we ask everyone to dig deep and help us make this goal so we can serve you all next year. Last I checked after Venerable Robina's talk, and I guess after this morning, Henrik texted me this morning, we have raised $6,967, which when matched becomes just about $14,000. So it's powerful, this match. So we have 14,000 so far. So you can see we're getting closer. We just need a few more small and large donations to get us to 42,000. We encourage you to join us in this amazing opportunity. In fact, you can donate right now. The donation link is in the chat. So just visit the Global Tree Initiative website at plantgrowsave.org, plantgrowsave.org, which brings us to another way to more than double your contribution. This Tuesday, November 15th, is a Buddhist holiday. And according to Buddhist tradition, when you make a gift to honor a special day, that merit is multiplied by 100,000. This is true of all religious holidays celebrated with pure heart and mind. So let's take a moment to thank our environmental heroes like you who intentionally care of this beautiful sanctuary called Earth. To honor religious harmony, the Global Tree Initiative chooses a new environmental hero each year. Our first year, it was His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. The second year was Greta Thunberg. And this past year, our environmental hero was Desmond Tutu. I'd also like to thank our team here at Global Tree Initiative, Henrik, our project coordinator, Hita, our project specialist, Chunhan, our Universal Clear Light Global Director, Arnaud, our webmaster, our accountant and Universal Light Treasurer, Val, our secretary, Tom, all of our translators, and our MC, Anna, thank you. And of course, a big thank you to all of our global coordinators, donors, and volunteers. Without you, we are nothing. And a big thank you, a very big love thank you, goes out to a very special person who is one of my dear friends and an environmental hero herself, Jackie Keeley, for her dedication and tireless work in setting up this wonderful Global Tree Initiative. Without her, this would not be possible. And another big love thank you to you, Osel, for your vast vision based in environmental universal education and for being a father extraordinaire to your son, Norbu. I'd like to introduce you to another personal friend, Tom Trudy, head of the FPMT for 11 years, but now our new Universal Light Secretary. Tom, can you tell us a bit more about this great holiday where our merit is multiplied by 100,000?
Sure. Thank you.
Head of education.
Yes, head of education services of FPMT.
For how many years?
11.
11 years.
I'm now working with Wisdom Publications. Yes, so the Buddhist holiday Julie mentioned on November 15th, this Tuesday, is called Labab Duchen, and it's celebration of one of the great events in the Buddha's life. At the time of the Buddha's birth, his mother, Maya Devi, passed away 1 week after being born, and she was reborn in a heaven realm. So much later, at the age of 41, after the Buddha had achieved enlightenment, he made the choice to repay the kindness to his mother and journeyed to that heaven realm to give her teachings and to share those teachings with the other mother sentient beings of the gods of that heaven realm. And so there he helped her gain liberation and repay that special kindness. But the followers of the Buddha, the Sangha that remained on earth, mourned his journey. So they requested him to return to the earth. And the Buddha chose on the full moon to descend on specially created stairs from the heavens to rejoin his students in the Sangha on the earth. So whether you're Buddhist or not, the really inspirational takeaway from this holiday, I think, is that compassion adapts. So that's a little bit of history there, and just an important moment. You can make a donation and really get a little bit of an extra boost in the intention and the potency of your actions. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Tom. That was absolutely beautiful. And thank you so much, Julie. The video was so inspiring, but also all your work and support as well is so appreciated, and you're an amazing presenter. Beautiful, so nicely done. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap up. I've got to add my thank yous and admiration to the list towards Jackie. Over these last couple of years, we have become fierce friends, and she has inspired me with her knowledge, her stories, her outrageous honesty, her just absolute fabulous nature. And she's planted some seeds and prepped some soil that I know are going to help us really, really take this into the future. So I would just ask everyone to plant your seeds, to grow our forest, and to save their futures. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this evening. We appreciate it so much. And we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, especially to the translators who were here way before everyone else as well. Osel, thank you. Oh, did you want to say something, Osel?
I forgot to say thank you to the translators. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here and dedicating the time, the energy, the space for such an amazing cause, you know, for the benefit of other sentient beings. I think you have somebody behind you.
Hey, Remy, do you want to say hello? Do you want to come and see Jackie and Osel and everyone say hello? Yeah, and actually for everyone who has made the time and effort, life is busy. Thank you for taking this time to be part of this event and to be part of this community that is growing so fast. So have a really wonderful and blessed evening, everyone. Thank you.
Was I good?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Let's
everyone.
do
Thank
this
you
more
for
often.
joining.
This is fun.
Yeah, we should do this more often,
Was I
definitely.
good, Mom?
You were good.
Okay.
It's so great to see so many people.
So
Some
let's
of them-
dedicate. Maybe we can
Yeah.
dedicate. Yeah.
Yes.
Will you offer the dedication, Osel, or?
Yeah, I can offer dedication. So let's dedicate. I mean, we could do the Tibetan version, but we could do English version as well. So English version, I'm just gonna do like small concept. Let's dedicate the time and the concentration, the focus, the time, the energy that we spent in this time. We're gonna dedicate for all mother sentient beings in this dimension, in all the dimensions, in all the times, and all that. And starting, of course, with ourselves, which is also part of this whole collective. So by loving ourselves, by taking care of ourselves, by dedicating this time, we are also benefiting others through the channel of who we are. So
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. I will unmute everyone, and feel free to say your thank yous and goodbyes. And yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Have a good evening or
Good job.
day or night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow.
Grazie.
Bye. Mwah. Love you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Osel. Thank you, Anna. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Paul.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Kat.
Спасибо.
Gracias, Laura. Gracias a todos.
Jackie.
Bye bye.
Hey.
Bye. Hi, Debbie.
Love to everyone.
Oh, bye, Di.
This is fun.
So
Many
fun.
beautiful faces.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Gracias a todos. Dios.
Thank you. Gracias, Katie.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye, Osel. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
Bye.